There are a ton of two-in-ones to choose from on the market. A lot of them are quite expensive, but this is the Lenovo Yoga 7, which tends to be a more affordable option. Now, I did partner with Lenovo on this video, and there are a lot of things I like about this laptop, but I feel like there's one thing that's holding this laptop back, which I'll get to shortly. From a design standpoint, it's a completely metal chassis. It feels very good in the hand. I love the fact that Lenovo continues to round off the edges on a lot of their yoga products. It just feels so much more comfortable to hold in the hand. I don't like sharp edges. They sandblast it. It's a good thing to have. It's a little bit on the heavier side, so around 4.4 pounds, but not heavy enough that like this wouldn't be good enough to travel with. It's still light in that regard, but the overall build quality is fantastic. It's a metal chassis. There's not a lot of lid flex. The design is very clean. You have a ton of I/O with an HDMI port 2.1 on the left-hand side. You have a USB Type-C port. This one is not USB 4, but it does support power delivery since the charging brick is using USB Type-C. This one is USB 4.0, so you're gonna get the full 40 gigabits per second. You have your combo audio jack, and then on the right-hand side, you have two USB-A ports, a micro SD card. I would have preferred a full size, and of course, you have your power button. Now, you can't open up this laptop with one hand. It kind of gets stuck together like this. You have to put your other hand on the base in order to open up the display, but I kind of get it because this is a two-in-one. You're flipping the display 180 degrees to be completely flat. Like, you don't want the hinges to be too loose. Like, if you're holding it like this, like I am right now, the fact that the display is not dropping down means the hinges are feeling confident. Now, obviously, you can use this as a tablet if you flip it like this. And of course, if you're the individual that doesn't want to see the keyboard and have more of a media experience, you can put it in tent mode. And with select SKUs, it does come with a Lenovo digital pen. Now, there is no place to magnetically connect it on the side anywhere, but it does come with this little USB sleeve, which allows you to place it inside of a USB port in order for an easier carry. The pen itself draws and writes fantastically. Like, you know, you're gonna be happy writing down notes with this thing if you're using it. Like, it works very well. And then of course, if you're sketching or drawing, it obviously supports all that functionality. The keyboard experience is exactly what you'd expect from Lenovo. The U-shaped keys, they're very comfortable to type on. They're not as clicky as the ThinkPad lineup. Obviously, I don't expect them to be. The ThinkPad is obviously way more expensive, but what you do get is a full-size numeric keypad. And just like with most Lenovo laptops, if you smash Function Q, you can easily toggle through the different performance settings. You do have one color backlight. It is white, which is absolutely great to see. And with most laptops these days, the right bottom control is being replaced with the Copilot key. Now, the one thing that I do like is the speaker situation. They placed the 2-watt speakers, two 2-watt speakers at the top over here, and they sound absolutely fantastic. Todas mis culpas y todos mis delitos. No quiero aceptar que todo acabará. Fingerprint scanner on the bottom, it works great. As you can see, it quickly logged in, but of course you do have Windows Hello Facial Recognition if you prefer that instead. A lot of you out there actually prefer the fingerprint scanner. You say it's a lot quicker. I agree with you, it is, but I don't know, there's just something about walking up to your laptop, letting it scan your face, and then log you in as well. You do have a good size touchpad. It is glass and it does feel fantastic to use. Now, my biggest complaint about this laptop, it's the display. Now, I like the size of the display. 16 inches is great. I love the fact that it's 16 by 10. I'm okay with it being 60 Hertz considering its price point. But the one thing that I'm not okay with is the color gamut. Like, they're marketing this laptop towards creators and the color gamut is just not good. It's very dull. It doesn't hit 100% sRGB. And I feel like that should have been a thing for this price point. If you're buying a laptop for around $1,000, it should have a very good color gamut. It doesn't need to be the best, doesn't need to be OLED good, but it should be acceptable. And I feel like that was the miss for this product. But it does have good screen brightness, over 400 nits of brightness, which is great to see. All right, this is what the 1080p webcam looks like. The only thing I have in front of me is a window. There's no other lights that are on right now. You guys let me know how it looks, and most importantly, Let me know how the microphones sound. Now, performance is good. Like we're talking about an AMD Ryzen 7 8840HS CPU paired with 16 gigabytes of DDR5 6400 megahertz memory. We have a terabyte of storage, and of course we have that big 16-inch display. Like the AMD Ryzen 7 processor inside of here is great. Like I have zero complaints, you know, like it sits right up there exactly where it should be, competing in a place where other laptops are as well. And if you're using this thing for Photoshop, it runs beautifully. If you're buying it for Adobe Premiere Pro, again, you know, like you could do 1080p, not a problem, but if you're constantly editing 4K video, maybe you want to buy a Yoga with a dedicated GPU or another Lenovo product that can obviously give you that dedicated GPU performance because it's going to help your 4K edits. Mozilla Firefox compiled exactly where it should be. It beat out some Core Ultra 7 155H processors from Intel. The RX 7800M integrated GPU inside of here is also great. Like if you want to play any well-optimized titles like Overwatch, for example, it's absolutely going to handle it. I understand this is not a gaming laptop, but it absolutely can play some older titles very comfortably. Average core clock speeds are nice and high. It sits around 4,000 megahertz, but eventually it drops down to around 3,000 if you're pushing it for a very long time. The CPU temps are also great. Like this thing never passes 80 degrees Celsius. In fact, if Lenovo really wanted to, they could give it more thermal headroom, but it's already performing very well, and I feel like they'd just rather have a good user experience with fan noise. Now, obviously, you have the option to really push the fans if you want to get maximum performance, and with that, you will hear them. It's quite normal, but if you drop the fan noise by switching to a different performance profile, the performance is still good, and obviously, you'll get a quieter experience. Internally, you have a big, massive fan and two big copper heat pipes to keep the CPU and GPU cool. I do like the fact that you do have the front firing speakers. One speaker is right here, the other one is over here, and of course it's going through the deck of the keyboard. Swappable NVMe SSD. This is not a full size. I would have loved a 2280, but you do get pretty good read and write speeds. I also feel because there's a lot of space in this laptop, they could have easily fitted a second slot if you wanted to have two drives. Swappable Wi-Fi card. This is Wi-Fi 6E. But on the bottom over here, you have a 71 watt-hour battery. And I actually got really good battery life. 12 hours and 49 minutes before needing to charge, which is really impressive. I should also mention that if you do buy this laptop, I'm not sure if it's with all SKUs, you'll get 2 months free of Adobe Creative Cloud. There's a lot of good things about this laptop, especially for the price point. It's well built, you have tons of I/O, the battery life is really good, the speakers sound fantastic, the typing experience is good, and you also have a nice big touchpad. The only thing I don't like is the display. So the best way to describe it is if you look at a display with a full color gamut, 100% sRGB, it just looks a lot more vibrant, in depth. And then when you look at this guy, it just feels a little dull. My suggestion to you is if the display is going to be a nitpick for you, maybe look at the 14-inch version. I know they have an OLED option, and that thing is absolutely going to have a fantastic color gamut. But if that doesn't bother you, the price point of this laptop is good, along with all the other features I just mentioned. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.